Hi everyone, Chris here from IELTS Advantage with another success story. Today we have Lilia who is going to share her success with you guys. So Lilia, can you just start off by just introducing yourself to everyone, please?
Yes, hello, Chris. Thank you for having me here. And my name is Lilia. I'm from Algeria. Currently, I am a resident doctor in my country.
Excellent. And can you tell us a little bit about your IELTS journey?
Yes, actually, for me, IELTS was a long journey, if I may say this, full of ups and downs. I've taken the test for 3 times, and all it started in 2020 when I decided to to start seriously preparing, because I had the thought before, but I never committed myself to this preparation. But at a certain point, I said, "Yeah, this is the time I have to start," and it should be like I had to start from somewhere. And then I decided to join your course, and from that I started to commit a little bit at the beginning, and I tried to take the IELTS exam once before being ready or anything, just to know where I was standing up. Like I wanted to know what would be my score, and I took it in November 2020, and I scored 6.5. After that, I had like a clear image about this exam and what I needed to do. So I started to commit myself to a daily preparation almost for 6 months. And I took it again in May, last May, and I scored 7. My score improved over in the overall score, but still I didn't get the score that I really needed, because I needed 7.5. So at this point, I was very disappointed, because after 6 months of
Mm.
daily preparation, and specifically because I'm studying and working, and so adding this was very, very hard. So that after that, I told myself, okay, I think that I am approaching, so I don't have to give up. Really, I have to keep faith, and to just now I know exactly what I need to do. I had to focus on the really specific parts, or the mistakes that I've done before, and it was the speaking and the writing. So I gave my whole focus to these 2 parts, and finally I scored the score that I needed. And I finally I can move on in my career and in what I want to do.
Well, congratulations again. It's a great
Thank you.
achievement and well done for studying, every day for 6 months. But were you studying independently or did you have help, or how were you studying during those 6 months?
Well, actually, I was a student in your course, and in the past 6 months, I committed exactly to the academy and the content that they were given, specifically the Cambridge live sessions. Basically, I took the whole course, and I went through all the videos that you offered in the course, and after that, I started to sort. I had my buddy partner for the speaking, so we practiced every time, and almost every other day. And also I relied on the Cambridge live sessions for the practicing the writing, because it was my weakness. In my 2 previous attempts, I scored 6.5. And I needed a 7 at least.
Mhm.
So I had to really write, but it wasn't sufficient, because I did that before and I scored still 6.5, so which was really disappointing. But the last time I focused on the feedback that the teachers gave in the course when I submitted my essay, but also I attended the live sessions
Yeah.
where I could interact with other students and also with the teachers. I could have some feedback directly from the teacher, saying that this word can't work here, or this is not how you should say it, and so on. So it was of a great help for me, actually.
So it was a mixture of studying alone sometimes and then joining the live classes sometimes and then getting one-on-one feedback sometimes, that kind of a mixture helped you?
Yeah, exactly. And specifically getting the maximum from the feedback that you get. It's not
Hmm.
enough just to submit it, but the last time before the exam, I reviewed all the feedbacks that I got, because they send us the PDF with the correction, and they send us the video as well. So where they explain. So I reviewed all of them, and I took notes, and I focused on those weaknesses and those mistakes, because sometimes you have such as fossil mistakes that you repeat without being conscious about them. So really, it helps when someone from the outside like point them out. It really helps.
Excellent. So when we were pointing out your mistakes, what were your main weaknesses or main challenges?
Well, at the very beginning, if we're talking about the speaking, I had some troubles with having the right expressions. Maybe I had some, like, I tended to think in my in French, for example, where
Hmm.
the structure and the way how we explain the things, it is different.
Yeah.
So sometimes my speech is correct grammarly, and the vocabulary is good, but this is not the natural way to say this. So having this from a native speaker or an examiner or a teacher who is really native was very helpful. And also I had weakness with the articles, with the prepositions,
Hmm.
and all this stuff, but and also some pronunciation mistakes. But by time I started to focus on them and to really correct myself.
Yeah, a lot of the French speakers that we work with have that problem where they translate everything from
Yeah,
French in their brain, and then because when you're translating things in your native language, you're actually using a different part of your brain compared to when you're just producing language naturally. And that extra step can cause a lot of confusion. And many people might think that, French and English are very similar, but because
exactly.
they are, French is more similar to English than like English and Chinese or English and Vietnamese or something like that. But because they're similar, people translate a lot more than just producing the language, and it's
Yeah.
actually more difficult to get French speakers or Spanish speakers to just think in English, because they are so similar. And did you have that problem?
Yeah, definitely, all the time at the beginning, until I really figured out this problem, and I started to listen to native speakers and to English, and to learn the expressions as junk, not just words.
Hmm.
So this helped me so much. And also, like, even in the writing, we have a different way of explaining things. In French, for example, you explain a lot. Whereas and it was my biggest problem. I was like turning around the point.
Yeah.
Whereas in English and in the writing, in
Very
academic
direct.
writing, for example, you have to go directly to the point
Yeah.
without adding all this beautiful adjectives and synonyms, and no, directly to the point. And I think it happened for me I remember in the speaking at the beginning, the very first exam, I had a 7 in speaking. And the second time, after like 6 months of almost daily preparation, I started to learn a lot of phrasal verbs and beautiful, like advanced, what we may say, call like advanced vocabulary. And when I went to the exam, I started to speak a lot, and I put a lot of pressure on myself to use a lot of idiomatic language and difficult words, etc. And my score dropped
Yeah.
to 6.5. It
Yeah.
wasn't like, this is not what I have to do. The third time, when I went to the exam with like a very simple way, like in my mind, I have to talk naturally. What is important is to deliver the message,
Hmm.
not to make my life complicated. No. So this time I scored an 8.5, which was really surprising. I was really
Amazing.
surprised. Yeah.
And it's actually not surprising at all to go from a 6.5 to an 8.5. And that people watching this might think that this is crazy, but by simplifying everything, because it's
Exactly.
not. I mean, you're a doctor, imagine I came in with a simple illness, and you tried to treat it in a very complex way. Like, I'm probably not going to get better, you know, you know,
Exactly. Yeah.
So it people don't believe me when I say this, but we have so much evidence from people like you, who, when they try to make their show off and make their language very impressive, they lower their score. And when they keep it simple, their score really improves, because it's about really the purpose of the test is to prove you as a doctor, when imagine you're working in a hospital in London or Toronto or Sydney, can you clearly communicate with the patients and with your coworkers? That's all they're really testing. Not, can you speak to the patient and the patient says, "Oh, her vocabulary was very impressive." you know,
Exactly.
knows all
Yeah.
the idioms. It's not about that. It's about clear communication. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, definitely, absolutely. And I think that this experience it gave me like the evidence. This is exactly what happened for me personally.
Mhm, mhm.
I overcomplicated my life in the second attempt and tried to really. I felt that my level of English increased and
Yeah.
improved very, very well. But for the exam, the IELTS exam is very specific and very particular in its questions, the way how they mark you, the way how you are evaluated. So you really have to stick to the structures, what you have to do,
Mhm.
and not overcomplicate yourself.
Yeah. If you learn and really give the examiners what they want and keep it simple, your score will improve. So imagine you're giving yourself advice 2 years ago. Imagine you can talk to yourself from 2 years ago. What advice would you give yourself about how to approach the test and what to do in the test?
I think first of all, I think we have to improve our general English as a whole because
Mhm.
you can't aspire to get an 8 or 7.5 or above if you have like the intermediate level or very basic level in English. So watch a lot of movies, for example, or videos in English, listen to podcasts and read books.
Mhm.
This will take your English to the next level,
Mhm.
definitely. And I heard the teachers saying this at the beginning. I didn't take it seriously, and when I took it seriously and I did all this, I read a book. I listened to a podcast almost every day, and also like I watched my series on Netflix, etc. This helped me seriously.
And you
And
probably would be
secondly,
doing that anyway. You're probably going to be reading a book or watching a TV series or watching a movie in French. So you just have to make,
so
I know it makes it a little bit more difficult and it's not as relaxing to just switch your brain off, but it's you can substitute those daily activities that you do in your own language and just switch them into English, and it will make your life much easier.
definitely, actually, this is the point. I think that you have to immerse yourself,
Yeah.
and if you want really to learn English, so you are passionate about learning this language, you have to be motivated and passionate about it, and it will be very easy for you if you are passionate to switch everything to English mode.
Yeah.
And it is really fun and useful at the same time, and
Yeah.
it's time management also because it saves you time, and
Exactly.
like you are being productive in your learning and
Yeah.
you're using your time to learn. And I think if I had to add another advice, I think it is necessary, absolutely necessary, to have someone who will give you feedback. Like, don't try to waste your time by saying, okay, I am going to be this Superman and I will learn and I will advance and I will take IELTS exam
Yeah.
just by my own and on my own by myself without any help from
It's
outside. And because
like,
you will need, it's all about, it's a whole different mindset. It's not just taking an exam. I've taken a lot of exams in med school, very difficult exams, but I must say that this one was the hardest one of
Wow.
all of them, because you have specific things that you have to know and to answer in the way that they ask you to do that. And when you took the Cambridge book, for example, as for practice, they don't tell you what they need, what they
Yeah.
want you to do. They give you the questions, they give you the examples of answers maybe, but they don't say what is the specific point I'm looking for, what you should say, how you should write this. So having the help of someone who is really specialized or an expert on IELTS preparation, specifically in writing and speaking, is really necessary. And also the more you practice, the more you get better, and you get used to the exam. For example, I just to give an example for the listeners about how I improved my score in listening from 6 to 8.5.
Wow.
Yeah, I at the beginning when I took the test, I didn't practice listening. For me, I was able to understand any native speaker, and I didn't have any difficulties in understanding, for example, I don't know, documentary or something like this. But the specific questions in IELTS exam and the time management during the exam is completely different. And I scored 6.
Mhm.
And what I did is to be productive and to use the time that I spend in transport to listen every day almost to a speaking test, to listen and to practice it. It takes me like 30 minutes to 40 minutes every day in the transport, but it was of a huge help because the sounds and the questions became very familiar for me, very easy to understand, and also even the tricks that they try to put in the questions, you get used to them because of practicing
Yeah.
practicing a lot. So practice makes perfect. Don't hesitate to take any course that may help you, where you can have personalized feedback, and also like to keep everything simple. Don't think that you have to be, I don't know, very impressive in the way how you speak or you write. Just be direct and precise, and also improve your general English if you want very higher scores if in IELTS.
Excellent advice. You could become an IELTS teacher, I think, if you don't want to become a doctor anymore. But just to go back, that's great advice about using the time, your commuting time when you're in, when you're you said during transport, if you're on a bus or a train or in a car, you're going to be just wasting your time, anyway. So you may as well use that productively. So I think a lot of people who work with us say, "Oh, I don't have time," but anyone can find the time by finding those little parts of the day when you're not really doing anything productive anyway, and you could add that in. And then about getting feedback, you're a doctor. um they don't just give medical students a textbook and say read the textbook and then go and treat the patients. You
Yeah.
need a lot. You need to study the theory, of course, and study the textbooks, but then you need a more senior doctor to be telling you, okay, don't poke the patient that way, and don't do this and don't do that, because there's a huge difference between learning theory and then applying it in the real world. And you need someone to be telling you that's good, that's not so good, that don't do that at all. Would you agree with that kind of similarity between
Yeah.
medicine
Yeah,
and
it's a great analogy actually. When you learn just the theory, it's definitely not. I wouldn't say it's of no use, but
yeah,
yeah, it's useful and it's going to help you. But you have to know and to link it to the practical world. Like
yeah,
English, okay, you have this long list of vocabulary that you memorized, you are good, synonyms, meta, how to paraphrase, etc. But okay, how to put it in the context of IELTS, because IELTS, it's not just, for me, it's not just about assessing the language. but it's also like the way how you answer. How, for example, in the academic in task 2 writing, for example, you are like you have to answer the question in a certain way. For example, you can generate an idea, and for you it's 90% relevant, and for someone else it's not. It's maybe 30% just relevant. And for me, it lowered my score many times because I thought that my idea, the way how I explain it, the example that I gave is very perfect. And I checked the grammar, I checked the vocabulary. Okay, everything is okay. But the content itself, maybe it's not that relevant that to the question, or maybe. And I learned this through the Cambridge live session. For example, when they ask the question, I have my idea I generate my argument and my idea in my head. Then I start to listen to the other students giving another example, another ideas, and we have like a bunch of ideas, and all of them are different maybe, and some of them are more relevant than others. So here you compare yourself to the other, and you learn how to generate more precise and more direct to the point ideas.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
yeah, it needs a practice and to put it in the context of IELTS. So it's not just the knowledge and the vocabulary and the grammar. It has something practical, like you said, like a doctor, you have to put it in the training.
Yeah, I know how that feels, as I was a lawyer before I was an IELTS teacher, and I studied for 4 years the theory of law, and then I got a job and they're like, yeah, you have to spend another 3 years now with your
Exactly.
boss telling you what to do. You know, you're not allowed to just do it yourself. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's applicable to know so many jobs where you do get a lot of feedback from people, and being, as you said, being exposed to different ideas from different people really does help as well. So thank you so much, Lilia. It's really great advice for anyone watching, and I wish you the best of luck in the future. And you know, if you want to come back and study with us in the future, you know, you're very, very welcome.
Yeah, sure. Thank you very much, Chris, for having me here. And I wish you the best of luck for you and for the teachers. By the way, I must say thank you for every one of them, because they were very friendly and very helpful for us. Yeah, good luck for everyone. Specifically the students who are still in the journey of IELTS. Good luck and never give up.
I'll tell the teachers that you said thank you. They'll see this, so they'll know that.
Okay.
All right. Thank you so much, Lilia.
Thank you.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Hey, Chris here again. Hopefully you enjoyed that success story video. That student was part of our IELTS VIP course. And on that course, we show students exactly where they're going wrong and exactly what to do to get the score that they need. And we give them all the help and support that they need in order to get a 7, 8, or even 9 in their IELTS test. Now, we only work with a really, really small number of students. Because of the level of help and feedback and support that we give students, we can only work with a very, very small number of them. But we also have more success stories than any other online or offline course in the world, which has created a huge amount of demand for our course. So we're the only course in the world, I believe, that has a very, very, very long waiting list. If you want to join that waiting list, all you have to do is just click here and you'll be able to add your name, add your email address, and then when one of our students becomes successful and leaves the course, the next position can be for you. Hopefully see you in there. Bye-bye.